Hello guys, welcome to another virtual geography lesson, and today we're going to investigate another group of landscapes. Those are actually present only in the northern hemisphere, and this is tundra and taiga. Po polsku tundra I taiga. Oh, sorry for this, taiga. And we're going to discuss climate, landscape, and inhabitants. During watching this video, please pay close attention to this icon of compass because this indicates that there is something important happening, something that you need to know. And guys, let's discuss taiga first. As you can see in this map, it's a wide area in the northern hemisphere in Europe, Asia, and North America. In taiga, the summer is really short. During the long winter, temperatures drop up to minus 40 degrees Celsius. So basically, this is a really tough place to live in. However, there is a huge group of plants that have adapted pretty well to living in those conditions, and they create vast areas of forests. Because of the fact that it's so cold in here, the ground is frozen. The groundwater is frozen and it melts only during the short summer. Ever frozen ground is called the permafrost, wieloletnia zmarzlina. In the short summer, only the outermost layer defrosts, and it creates lots of mud and lots of water that is standing on the surface of the land because it has nowhere to infiltrate in. Nie ma gdzie wsiąknąć. Because on the depth of 1-2 meters, there is already the ice. This is the climatogram for Yakutsk, which is actually a place where people live. And guys, as you can see, the average temperature for the warmest month is 19 degrees, which is not that bad. But the coldest average temperature is in January and it's minus 42 degrees. It's pretty low. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months are with the average temperature above 0 degrees, and for the rest of the year is below 0, and it's not 2 or 3 degrees below 0. It's minus 40, minus 30, minus 25 degrees, so pretty much it's cold all the time. And here is the amplitude, the annual amplitude of temperature reaching 60 degrees Celsius, which happens in warm desert, for instance, on Sahara. That could happen during the day, but the annual temperature amplitude is not that huge. So this is a really harsh climate to live in. Annual sum of precipitation is between 300 to 700 millimeters. Of course, most of it is snow for the cold months. And 30 to 300 to 700 millimeters is quite I would say it's close to a temperate climate zone if it comes to the amount of rainfall. Actually, in Yakutsk, the annual sum is 246, which is really, really dry. And guys, here is a railway on the left of the screen. And this is what is happening when the surface layer of the soil is basically melting. Everything that's on the surface will just melt with it. So it's very difficult to build anything on permafrost because whatever you build in winter will just deform during the short summer. This is what is important. Taiga is made of coniferous forests, mostly spruces, firs, and pines. Rarely pines, actually, in the south more, there are more pines. More north, there are spruces and firs. Crowns of those trees are so wide that there is not much light reaching the bottom of the forest, which makes it quite difficult for the undergrowth plants to grow. So the undergrowth is pretty reduced, and only small shrubs, only mosses, fungi, and lichens can grow in here. But coniferous forests of taiga are basically one of the biggest concentrations of forests on the whole earth. Typical animals that live in taiga are bears, mooses, sables, sobole, and wolves. So, guys, you can see that there are plenty of predatory animals that will basically hunt for those omnivores or herbivores. Swamps are a very important part of taiga landscape because, as I mentioned before, during the short summer, the water will just concentrate on the surface, creating a lot of mud. And this creates pretty perfect conditions for insects to thrive. So lots of mosquitoes, lots of other insects, and basically this also makes it unbearable to live in those areas because the number of mosquitoes is so huge that people have problems with living there. The indigenous group of people that is living in taiga are Yakuti. As you can see, they have quite Asian faces. This is because they traditionally live in the northeastern Asia. Since it's impossible to create any farmlands because the summer is short and basically everything would melt anyway during this short summer, what they did traditionally was fishing, was keeping horses, keeping reindeers as well, and also hunting for animals. In the past, they used to migrate. For summer, they would move more to the north, and for winter, they move more to the south. Hence, they had two houses. They were built out of wood, which there is plenty of in the taiga forest. But nowadays they have stopped migrating and they have one fixed house which is built on pillars. So we have a house that is like this and it's standing on pillars, and those pillars basically reach deep into the ground. Here is the ground. So the outermost layer will melt, but it won't make the home collapse because the home is standing on the stiff ground, on the stiff permafrost. And this is a group that is rarely met nowadays. They have adapted the Western culture type of living, so they rarely continue the traditional way of living. And let's go to tundra. And the name tundra comes from the Finnish word tunturi, which means uh, the naked hill, a hill that nothing grows on it except for only small plants such as mosses and lichens, something like this. And this comes from Finnish language. Tundra areas are located in the northern hemisphere, north to the taiga. So if we had to mark taiga in this map, it would go like this, and like this, and like this. And more to the north, far behind the polar ring, there is tundra, and it belongs to polar climate zone. Climate of tundra is also really cold, and it's even drier than taigas, but warmest month is July with the average temperature of 4 degrees Celsius, while the coldest is February with the average temperature of minus 23 degrees. This gives the amplitude of temperatures around 27 degrees. If it comes to annual amplitudes, this is closer to temperate climate zone than to taiga. It is really dry. The annual sum of precipitation does not exceed 250 millimeters. To compare it with Poland here, the average precipitation sum is 600, 700 millimeters. And it's really, really dry with the most precipitation happening in the summer months. This climatogram is for Barrow. This is a town in Alaska. What is happening in tundra is the fact that there are polar days and polar nights, just like in the polar regions, which means that either day or either night lasts for 24 hours or longer. And this photo was taken in the middle of the night. It was 12:43 a.m., which is 43 minutes after midnight, and the sun hasn't set. And this state of matter can keep up like this for a few days or a few months. If you are closer to the north, then the periods of polar days and polar nights will be longer. If it comes to plants of tundra, trees don't grow here. As you can see, there are absolutely no trees. They cannot withstand any of those conditions. There are only herbaceous plants, mostly grasses, that blossom during the short summer, but they do it quickly. They create seeds and then they die. And also, there are plenty of mosses, which you can find here. And there are plenty of lichens, such as reindeer lichen, chrobotek reniferowy, which is really characteristic for that region. The presence of this lichen also indicates that those are really clean areas with no pollution, with no gas emissions, and so on, because lichens are bioindicators, which means that their presence or disappearance will mean that there was something happening with the quality of the environment. Animals of tundra. What is characteristic about tundra is the fact that there are plenty of animals, but their variety of species is really low. In other words, many animals, very small variety of species. Uh, from the small ones, just like this lemming, to the big ones, musk ox, which is piżmowu. And of course, the snowy owl. As you can see, those animals uh, have very characteristic colors. Lemmings and musk ox, they blend in with the grayish brownish color of soil and lichens and basically everything that is growing in here, while snowy owl, as its name points at, it's snowy, so it blends in with the snow that is present in tundra for a long time of the year. People of tundra, there aren't many people living in tundra because those are mainly areas that are empty. However, Inuits, as I mentioned while talking about the polar region, they live there. And they live, for instance, in Greenland. They live closer to the polar region, and they used to lead their traditional lifestyle, including building those characteristic homes, igloos. They can't cultivate any plants because there is no good soil, there are no good weather conditions, but they used to hunt for animals. They have mostly ceased to do this, and now they live like this. Those are pictures from the city of Nuuk in Greenland, which is the biggest city of Greenland. Greenland is the biggest island on Earth, and it belongs to Denmark. However, Inuits live there and they have created those cities that basically look like the cities, the towns that we will find in Norway. Guys, this is it for today. Please go to the assignment section. There is something waiting for you, and please do this. You have a week to do this. Thanks for watching.